In order to understand why LucasArts took such a long time to put out a sequel to Monkey Island 2, we must take a look back to the events of the time, going all the way back to 1992 to flesh out some backstory. In late 1992, Ron Gilbert, after almost 9 years of service with LucasArts, decided to change direction with his career and become his own boss, so to speak, leaving LucasArts behind and soon forming a brand new company called Humongous Entertainment. Along with Shelley Day, the focus of this new company would be developing adventure games similar to the style made at LucasArts at the time, but focusing on a much younger crowd, an area that Ron believed had not been targeted significantly by developers of the day. They would craft games that were fun and engaging, but also educational. Humongous Entertainment would go on to create several franchises such as Pajama Sam, Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, Spy Fox, and Fatty Bear, and the company would indeed do well for itself, cranking out several titles for each franchise over the years to come. Now, getting back to the Monkey Island franchise, Ron had believed at the time that Monkey Island 2 would be the last game in the series, and thus crafted the strange and weird ending that we got at the end of the game. While it certainly was not a definitive end to the series, it was at the time, for all intents and purposes, the last we would see of Guybrush Threepwood and Melee Island. That was until 6 years later when LucasArts decided to move forward with a sequel, even without Ron Gilbert on board. Gamers finally got the chance to experience the next evolution of the Monkey Island franchise with The Curse of Monkey Island, a highly stylized and polished game that retained the charm, humor, and the fun and engaging, but not too frustrating gameplay that gamers had grown to love.
Haha! Taste cold steel, feeble cannon restraint rope.
Curse of Monkey Island was a worthy sequel to the Monkey Island franchise and led to a resurgence of the brand after several years of inactivity, proving that gamers still want to take control of Guybrush Threepwood, Mighty Pirate. The Curse of Monkey Island was also notable in being the last LucasArts game to use the famous Scum engine, the same engine developed by Ron Gilbert and Eric Wilmunder back in 1987, which had been updated, rewritten, and modified many times since then with the many LucasArts adventure games that had come out during the 90s. This time around, Larry Ahern and Jonathan Ackley took the reins to lead production on the title, updating not only the graphics and sound, but also crafting a well-written story and creating a standout title in the adventure genre. It still holds up as one of the best adventure games of all time, and is my pick for my favorite title in the Monkey Island franchise. It's point-and-clicking action at its finest. Taking on the role of Guybrush, hey, where the heck did my beard go, Threepwood? He's once again off to save his love of his life, Elaine Marley, from the devious LeChuck. But of course, there's many plot twists and other crazy shenanigans that Guybrush must deal with as he visits new islands, battles LeChuck, and hopes to do so all in fine Guybrush style. A newly created interface was implemented in this game, where instead of using a list of verbs to choose what you want to do, you now have the verb coin. Hold down the left mouse key on an object to choose whether you want to look at something, pick it up, or talk with said object or person. This was further simplified with the right mouse button, opening your inventory, and also as a context-sensitive option like right-clicking on a person to talk to them or open a door, creating a much more simplified and refined way of playing the game. Now, the big draw for this series this time around was the inclusion of voices in the game, a welcome addition that finally happened after all these years, and what a cast we got. Earl Bowen as LeChuck, Alexandra Boyd as Elaine, we even got Gary Coleman in a small role. We also got Dominique Armato, starring for the first time as Guybrush Threepwood, and he does a fantastic job voicing Guybrush. It's hard to picture a more perfect fit for the character of Guybrush, thanks to Dominique's superb effort in voicing the role and making it his own. Practically all the voices fit really well with their characters, and you can easily see that LucasArts spent a good deal of time picking out their choices for a great game experience.
Him that you'll find, Elaine. Burn down every island in the Caribbean if you have to, but bring me my bride! And more s'more! Curse those villains! They never never give you enough slaw with these value meals.
Horrible face of Skull Island.
That's a duck.
What are you talking about? Don't you see the skull?
This island doesn't look like a skull at all. It looks like a great, big, enormous duck. It should be called Duck Island.
Well, you see, you gotta squint and sort of turn your head and... Ooh, it's just so scary.
The Curse of Monkey Island really is the complete package of how amazing a game can look and play. I mean, look at how gorgeous the game looks. Look at it! Such vibrant colors, superb animation. Not many titles had this look going on, except for perhaps the Broken Sword series as one example. It's a look that still holds up to this very day and still looks amazing then as it does today. Cutscenes too look amazing, and it literally feels like you're watching a mini movie or a Saturday morning cartoon, watching the adventures of Guybrush and friends, or something. Even as an adventure game, there are certainly some gripes that we have to touch upon this time around, especially the more linear feeling of exploring during your travels. You don't have the full freedom like you did in Monkey Island 2 and being able to travel wherever you wanted across 3 different islands. It's a lot more restricted this time around to one area and then finish it off and then move on. Even so, the islands you do travel and explore are in their own way unique and interesting, with their many surprises and settings and showcasing more of the Monkey Island universe. Now, once again, you can raise the usual adventure game complaints about there being difficult puzzles and not knowing what to do next. It certainly does apply in Curse of Monkey Island, like it did in the previous Monkey Island games, but at least it's not as frustratingly difficult as those games were. And hey, you can also pick between 2 difficulty settings, like in Monkey Island 2. One being a more straightforward approach, and the other being slightly cryptic in solving puzzles. It's a more challenging adventure game title if you do this, but if you like that challenge, hey, go right ahead. The only other complaint I have is near the back end of the game. It definitely felt like the events proceeded rather quickly and without much explanation. Now, the designers themselves later explained that they simply ran out of time in developing the game, hence why the game suddenly speeds up in telling its story. It's a shame this happened, but hey, that's the video game business, and at least they acknowledged it. As I said before, if you want to check out one of the best games in the Monkey Island franchise, and also one of the finest examples of adventure gaming at its peak, you need to check out The Curse of Monkey Island, starring everybody's favorite and finally voiced pirate, Guybrush Threepwood. The game is easily playable on ScumVM or DOSBox, and you can see firsthand Monkey Island at its peak and marvel at its brilliance.
Wait, what are you doing? Help! Help! Ah!
And now, the musical stylings of Guybrush Threepwood.
Oh, there's a monkey in my pocket and he's stealing all my change. His stare is blank and glassy. I suspect that he's deranged.
That's odd.
What? What? You liked it?
No, it was dreadful. It's just that my queasiness has subsided. But now I'm beginning to taste metal and see spots before my eyes. I'm afraid that your singing is so bad that it has caused me to have a stroke.